Hey y'all, I'm so excited. I have been tagged by Summer Michelle, who is one of my absolute favorite channels here on YouTube, to participate in a challenge. This is a challenge that was put on by Alexis, who is another one of my absolute favorite channels here on YouTube. So I am going to do my very best to effectively participate. Essentially, though, what the ask is to put together your top 10 vendor fragrances. And I really am struggling so hard with that. So I knew I was going to have to add some constraints to that to get anywhere close to 10. And I am going to have to do some honorable mentions up front to talk about some of the scents that I excluded from this list. So for me, I am a mood melter. So I felt like, you know what, let me just only pick from things that I have melted within the last 3 months. So if I haven't melted it in the last 3 months, it's not included. And then I also excluded Christmas scents and coffee scents, which here are some of my favorite coffee scents, and I just have to tell you about them. So Coffee and Cynicism by Lavender and Speckles. This is called Starbeans Cafe from Rose Girls, and I really, really enjoy this one. It's a great espresso scent. And then there's Mountain Espresso, which I think is my current first favorite espresso scent from Lavender and Speckles. It's got a citrus note like no other. Very good, and I cannot believe that this is not in my top 10, but this is, I bet you think about me. It's so delicious. It's Cali Coffee Bar, sugar cookie dough bread, which if you see anything from Knowles Farm Scents with sugar cookie dough bread, highly, highly, highly recommend. Those are all good. They have to get an honorable mention from me, and just know that they are loved. I am going to try and get through this big pile of honorable mentions in under a minute, but I just wanted to shout out these fragrances if I can. This is primarily excluded from my top 10 because it's a very, very new to me scent, but it's in constant rotation and I adore it. I got it on the recommendation of the YouTube's channels Alexa Schluter and Steph the Scent of Gemini. They both said you should get loaves. They were right. It's so good. I really enjoy that. This is Makeup at the Beach by Rose Girls. This is one of my favorite, sometimes an office melt, but primarily a bedroom melt and a bathroom melt. It's a very relaxing, but bright, beautiful, and fun scent. I really enjoy it. And I'm shocked that this one didn't make it into my top 10, but there were only 10 slots. This is 22 from Knowles Farm Scents. It's very new to me. It's such a delicious strawberry, peach, raspberry, currant, and champagne scent. Highly recommend. If there's one that's the biggest shock to me that it's not in the top 10, it's probably this one. This is The Exorcist by Britta's Creepy Treasures. This actually is one of the scents that brought me to Britta's. It's absolutely excellent. Honestly, the only reason I excluded it is I feel like it gets a lot of buzz, and hopefully other people will mention it. And this is Red Coat from Britta's, and I really did want to include this, but there were just only 10 slots. This is my favorite cherry scent from any vendor, cherry bakery scent. It's excellent. I don't hear that much about it, but it's just a really beautiful, bright cherry scent. It lists as cherry mist, but the cherry is very present. It's gorgeous. All of these scents are great, and I wish there were more spots on the top 10 list. And so now to the actual top 10 list. Now, today is October 3rd, was the first fragrance that I thought of when I heard the prompt for this particular challenge. Because if you love L3 Waxy Wonders, you know that they are closing down, and I am so happy that she's making the right choice for her and setting her intention for her life and taking care of her health. All of those things are so important. But today is October 3rd, is just an absolutely beautiful and unique Palo Santo and Sugar Cookie Royale scent. It's one of the first scents that I really fell in love with from L3, and so I'm excited that I have a stockpile of it, but I am definitely going to miss it when they are gone. The next fragrance that I have is new to me, and I actually discovered this by Courtney's Scent Society here on YouTube. She described this as summer in a bag, and I absolutely agree. This is Barbie's Beach House from Southbound. And for me, I do If I haven't said it yet in this video, I am a Scentsy consultant, so I do use mostly Scentsy Warmers, and they're on for about 15 hours a day. And Southbound Wax is pretty hard, so for me, I choose to get their shape bags, and I have really great luck with their wax in my Scentsy Warmers even. So I'm just really excited about this particular fragrance, and I'm constantly looking for it. So I hope to get some more and get some more soon. Barbie's Beach House is just an absolutely summer in a bag scent. Strawberry pound cake perfection. I do realize that it is going to seem like I have just put a coffee bar in this top 10, but I'm going to, in my defense, say this seems like a more bakery bar to me. I do know that it says espresso as the top note, but give me a chance. This is Second and Spruce, the one collection. It's called Central Perk. This was a collection that she did that was based off of the Friends TV show. And for me, the most predominant note in this is the almond biscotti, almond croissant, and the cinnamon sugar donut. The espresso note is there, it's definitely present, but this to me is a bakery bar. And for me, Second and Spruce, one of the reasons that I really wanted to try this vendor was all the buzz around how well bakery is blended and done. And I think this is an excellent reflection of that. And I really appreciate that it's just a true bakery. It's not fruity. The espresso's there, but it's not dominant. It's just a beautiful bar, and I really enjoy it. Next up, I selected Midnight Rain from Knowles Farm Scents. And the primary reason that I selected this is I wanted Knowles Farm Scents Beach Evenings to be reflected in my top 10 because though I may not need this specific one, I really do think there's something very special about this Beach Evenings blend. It is very aromatic and light and beautiful without being, when I say light, I mean it's not heavy in the air. So there is a brightness to it, but it's incredibly aromatic, and this is got some staying power to it. I usually get about 20 hours out of it, and I really enjoy it. So Knowles Farm Scents Beach Evenings, in my opinion, not to be missed. Next up is the bar that knocked out The Exorcist from my top 10 list. This is a witch bar from Britta's. This is my absolute favorite shape, and it is in the fragrance of Practical Magic. I don't hear a lot about Practical Magic. To me, this is just like The Exorcist in that it highlights what an expert blender Britta really is, and it's unique in that I haven't seen anything else like it. It lists as garden mint and cucumber with black amber and lavender. It's such a gorgeous fragrance. The way that it warms is absolutely inviting and warm and welcoming all at the same time, while still having that kind of bright magic that garden mint and cucumber provide. It's a really gorgeous scent, and if you see it, don't be afraid to give it a try. And we have at last arrived at Silence in the Library from Sassy Girl Aroma. I really do just delight in this bar, particularly on intensive writing days or days when I'm needing to do a lot of focused desk work. It just is not an assuming bar. It doesn't pull focus, but it creates just a beautiful fragrance in the space that's both relaxing and to me encourages production. And so I just absolutely adore this. It lists as old paper, antique woodwork, vanilla perfume, and cedar desks. So good. I really enjoy this bar, and I am so excited at the progress that we're hearing that Sassy Girl Aroma is making and that they may be reopened fairly shortly. Very exciting to think about purchasing some more Silence in the Library because this is my last bar. Next up, we have one of my absolute favorite Teddy Bees fragrances, and this is Catacomb of the Witch. Now, this fragrance in particular is the first fragrance that clued me into the fact that I really do enjoy dark plums. I know that I love vanilla woods and bonfire scents, but this includes dark plums, rich vanilla, amber, bonfire bliss, and vanilla woods. and it creates just an objectively magical fragrance. I enjoy it so much. It's also incredibly crowd pleasing. And for me, this is a fragrance that can carry my whole house. So there are entire days when I have in, my selected warmers, I have just all Catacomb of the Witch going, and it's so beautiful. It creates a fun, relaxing, absolutely magical vibe. I mean, I think Catacomb of the Witch is perfectly named, um, but this just had to be in my top 10 because I do have a tub, but this is one that I absolutely would hunt for in a D-stash. I think I have a loaf left, but I'm sad that I don't have just drawers and drawers full because I love this fragrance. One of the things that I feel like Teddy B's fragrances are known for is being able to take you to a specific place in time. And for me, that is exactly why Old Country Store made the list. I have not heard it specifically about Old Country Store, but in other reviews and other folks talking about some Teddy B's fragrance, I have heard people talk about how they can kind of get transported back to a specific place and time in their life just by smelling this fragrance. There's something about her aromatics that can just absolutely teleport you to a different place. And for me, Old Country Store, I don't know why, but it takes me back to a time when I was a child and we would go to the farmer's market and you'd walk all the way through the farmer's market and go to the back with your produce and sit in a pile, typically lots of grandparents and grandkids sitting around with those big steel bowls in their laps, snapping peas and prepping um, the vegetables in the bags to be sold at the farmer's market. And that's right where this fragrance takes me. And so I just get tears in my eyes when I put it in, and I can just see my grandma's hands snapping peas, and I love it. So, but the actual scent notes are sweet peach preserves, hot apple pie, warm cinnamon, and a slight hint of pine. And I don't know how those scent notes sometimes take me back to, warm fall, spring, and summer days, depending on the season, and being at a farmer's market. But it does. And I think that's just one of the reasons why it's just irreplaceable to me. I really enjoy that fragrance from Teddy B's. And the next scent is also a Teddy B's fragrance. This is the Perfect Storm, and I was so sad that the Perfect Storm was not included in the last pre-order. This is listed as sea spray, ocean water, citrus, damp leaves, dark amber, and oak moss. And again, this is a very transportive scent. It feels absolutely like the calm after the storm. It's beautiful. It feels like the right amount of rain has come and gone, and all is well. I don't know how to describe it other than that. It's just a beautiful, aromatic, earthy scent that's still bright and aquatic. And I don't know if it's the dark amber and the citrus that just they contrast, and you think that it might be disruptive, but it's not. It's an absolutely relaxing scent. So this is one that I absolutely would look for. It's one that I do miss. This is the last that I have of it. I'm kind of holding on for dear life to this last quarter loaf that I have. Um, there are a couple of times that I've wanted to melt it, and I'm like, no, I don't want to run out. But I am going to melt it soon because I do not like to carry my wax for over 18 months, and I am going to keep my fingers and toes crossed that the Perfect Storm comes back someday soon. This is my number one fragrance right now in my home, and it's Level Up to Lake Kingdom. This was actually a blend that was recommended, I think, to Rose Girls by, I think, Jenny at Rose Girls. Listened to one of her fans in her Facebook page about two different scents that they like to combine. and she created this blend of the two in a bag, and it's absolutely amazing. This is Level Up to Lake Kingdom. It's blackberry, satsuma, raindrops, coastal kale, salty sea air, peppermint, and rain. And it's such a beautiful open concept warm. It's beautiful in bedrooms. It's beautiful in my office. I just really enjoy the brightness of this scent. It in a lot of ways has some similarities to the Perfect Storm. They're completely different. I think the mint in this makes it a bit more lively and less subdued, but it's just such a beautiful fragrance, and I've really been enjoying it, and I reach for it a lot. I haven't had this particular blend for an incredibly long time, and I have already gone through 2 bags, so I love it. Phew, we made it. I'm so glad that I had the opportunity to do this. An extra special thank you to Summer Michelle for tagging me and Alexis for starting this wonderful adventure. I'd love it if you'd subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so we can stay in touch. Also, did you participate? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to see your video.